That's what I was thinking.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another Dungeons & Dragons live stream. Today we're going to be live streaming the Dungeons & Dragons starter set, releasing in stores on July 3rd and elsewhere on July 17th. With me today is a handful of new players from outside of Dungeons & Dragons R&D. My name is Greg Bilsland. I'm a senior producer in D&D R&D, and I'll let you guys do your introductions.
I'm Adam Colby.
What do you do?
Oh, I'm a brand manager for Magic the Gathering.
And I'm Liz Lamb-Ferro. I'm also a brand manager for Magic the Gathering.
And how long have you guys been playing D&D, by the way?
I've been playing D&D for a little over 10 years.
Okay.
I've been playing D&D for a little under 4 hours.
I'm Josh Dillard. I'm a project analyst in the game support department, and I've been playing for 15 years, since mid-second edition.
I'm Chris Dupuis. I'm one of the designers for Kaijudo. I worked on D&D with Greg for a while. I've been playing D&D for over 10 years, since 3.5.
And I'm Tanji. I do graphic design for Dungeons & Dragons, and I have been playing all of 4th edition.
Who also designed one of our lovely character sheet designs. So we have a lot of different varying levels of experience and skill today, and so part of this is going to be just showing the flexibility of the starter set. We're going to be playing through the beginning of the adventure. There's probably going to be a lot of questions, so we're going to take this as an opportunity to show off some of the rules and hopefully have some time at the end to take your questions as well. So without further ado, we're going to just jump right in. You'll get a chance to introduce your characters in a second. In the city of Neverwinter, a dwarf named Gundren Rockseeker asked you to bring... a couple of things. First of all, there may be adult language. You have been warned. Second of all, this is going to be written with spoilers, seeing as we're running through the first part of the adventure. So if you are planning on playing this adventure, you may want to reconsider watching it. We'll have this archived on YouTube in the future. If you're DMing this might be an opportunity to see some of the beginning of the adventure and see how you can prepare. Now then, in the city of Neverwinter, a dwarf named Gundren Rockseeker asked you to bring a wagon load of provisions to the rough and tumble settlement of Phandelver, a couple of days' travel southeast of the city. Gundren was clearly excited and more than a little secretive about the reasons for his trips, saying only that he and his brothers had found something big, and that he'd pay you 10 gold pieces each for escorting his supplies to Barthen's Provisions in Phandelver. He then set out ahead on horse, along with a warrior escort, a fellow named Sildar Hallwinter, claiming he needed to arrive early to take care of some business. You spent the last couple days along the high road heading south out of Neverwinter, and you've only recently veered eastward along the Tribor Trail. At this point, Phandelver is about a day's travel away. You've encountered no trouble so far, but the territory can be dangerous. Bandits and the like tend to roam these parts. So at this point, you've had a chance to have been traveling together, so I'll kick it over to you guys to introduce your characters, maybe share anything you might have learned on the road so far, any connection you might have to Gundren Rockseeker, your patron.
I'm Astaire. I'm the halfling rogue, and I really don't want to talk too much about my background. I am currently a little nervous about getting into Phandelver. I've had some bad experiences there in the recent past, but I've taken steps to make sure that we'll be all right.
Okay. Liz?
Hello. It's lovely to meet all of you. We're having a lovely day. My name is Roxy Hart Ironfist, and Gundren's actually my dear, dear cousin.
So you're doing him a favor,
Our family bonds are strong.
but also getting paid.
Well, we don't like to talk about such things, but yes.
Okay.
So.
We like to talk about such things.
I am Valen Galanadel, acolyte and wizard in service to glorious Ogma. I have come to this mission in hopes to find a temple to Ogma that was desecrated in the past by goblins who inhabit the nearby fortress. The money is incidental, but helpful in any way that I can be of service to my god.
Peasants, I am Aiden Coriolanus, you all know. And I am happy to accompany you on this wonderful adventure as we attempt to civilize this area.
I'm Richard Dunnigan. You may call me Dunnigan. I'm here. I've worked on the ports of Neverwinter, and I'm looking to perhaps gain some wealth and slowly put it towards rebuilding my village of Thunder Tree, which was destroyed. But we're
Good
here
for
to do
you.
a good. Yes.
We're all a very
thank you.
supportive group
Thank you.
here. So to give everybody some context, these are all characters that are part of the starter set with pre-baked backgrounds, and people are kind of bringing their own story and flavor to them.
I mean my own name.
And your own name, yes. Roxy Heart Iron Fist.
Yes.
Is that heart as in?
Like from Chicago, Roxy Hart.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Where is this Chicago?
It's on the far
Far-
side of
far land.
Faerun.
Yes, I don't travel.
You probably have heard.
Yeah.
The wind is great there.
So you've been on the Tribor Trail for about half a day, and as you come around a bend, you spot 2 dead horses sprawled up ahead, about 50 feet, and blocking the path. You're riding along on the cart pulled by a pair of oxen, and each of these horses you can see is peppered with arrows with black fletching. The woods in this area kind of press in close up ahead. Do you guys pull the oxen cart to a stop?
I say yes.
Yes.
I hop off and I'm finding a good place to keep a lookout.
Keep a lookout. Okay, so are you staying like in the middle of the road, or do you actually want to keep like on top of the cart?
Off the top of the cart, but maybe off to the side of the road.
Okay.
Roxy, do you suppose this is dangerous?
You know, I think since everyone's, in agreement, it sounds like that we should do this. I think it's okay.
Very well.
I will scout off to the side. I'll let you deal with the horse issue.
I'll scout off to the other side.
Okay, so here the 2 of you are kind of going off along the side of the road into the brush and thickets. And is somebody going up and approaching the horses?
I'll go up and approach the horses.
Okay.
I'll check it out.
Might be faking.
They may be big.
Horses
The
are
horses
known
are
for-
well known for their deceptive abilities.
That's right.
You can see that in the monster manual, Trained in Deception.
Play dead.
Check their saddlebags while you're there, in case there's something.
Okay. So I go ahead and I check their saddlebags.
Okay, so it's about 50 feet up, and as you're approaching, the 2 of you are moving through the woods. It's a little bit difficult. There's kind of a tangle of brush that pulls at your clothes as you move. You're keeping a watch, so go ahead and give me, actually the 3 of you, wisdom perception checks.
So you're rolling what side of die?
20.
20.
D20.
D20 and adding our perception.
Okay.
9.
Yes.
No, that's this one.
Okay, that perception. All right.
So for you, Liz, though, you're just kind of going straight up to them, so
Yep.
you'll have something else happen. So 9,
18.
18,
12.
12.
There was a bug doing something on the ground. It was pretty interesting.
Shiny.
So you guys are looking through the woods as you approach the horses, and immediately you can tell that these are the same horses that Gundren Rockseeker, your beloved cousin, and Sildar Hallwinter, the warrior, were riding.
Oh no!
And you can see the saddlebags have been spilled out and looks like rifled through. There's an empty map case, it looks like, next to that that's been, the cap which has been pulled off. Josh, you were back up with the cart.
I'm taking the cart.
Okay, or Valen, I should say. And it's as you're realizing this, that Aiden, you spot in the woods goblins. There's a pair of goblins on your side that seem to be drawing bows, ready to take aim at you and Roxy. And what do you do?
Curses! Unclean filth! And I charge at them.
Roll initiative.
Okay.
Roll it.
Wait, hang
I
on.
think I got tied up in the thickets.
And then
It was a treasure.
grab one rubbish.
19.
And grab
Hold that number for a
That's what will
second.
save you.
Okay. So I'm going to be the one asking all the really basic questions of which dice do I roll? You know?
Just
You
where we
rolled it
all
well.
started there.
You rolled very well.
You want to save those for attacks.
Yeah. just-
Oh,
in an hour now, we're gonna say you should have saved that 20. But
Yeah.
That's a good start.
It is. It's
It's a
good.
good sign.
That will
Okay.
prevent you from
Don't save them, just continue rolling them.
or well, at least shot.
okay.
All right, so I'm going to take your little name tags here and organize them in initiative order. So Esther, you were at
9. Sorry, 7.
7.
It
Okay,
was a really interesting
Aiden,
bug.
4.
done again.
20.
Roxy,
19.
19.
Your shot.
Perhaps
Thank
we
you.
should stay close.
And Valen,
Valen Gallandel, a Geek Wizard, and blah, 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 blah.
Aiden, you were at
5. 4, 5, 7.
Okay, so you guys are not surprised, thanks to the keen eyes of Aiden. The goblins, though, were well aware of you. And it is actually Dunnigan who quickly takes action as Aiden calls out. What would you like to do?
Would I be able to draw my longbow and
Longboard would actually be a very acceptable weapon as well.
Anyway.
I think they call it a quarterstaff.
and shoot?
Yeah, you can pull out your longbow. So your original perception check was what? Do you remember?
Oh,
The last
it
roll.
wasn't that good. It
Yeah,
was-
the goblins are still hidden from you.
Yes.
So you can either try to take aim at where Aiden is pointing, or you could do something like ready in action to when the goblins show up, take aim at them, or you can charge into the woods. But at this point, they're just kind of invisible to
Somewhere.
you.
Okay. I will ready my action and slowly start heading towards that way. Or one or the
So
other.
up the path toward the horses?
To where
Because you were on the other side.
Oh, okay, you're
yeah.
crossing over. Got it.
actually. No, I'm gonna stay in the bush, ready in action.
Okay. For if a goblin shows up, you're gonna take aim. Got it.
Whites of his eyes.
Roxy.
Yes.
So at this point, because the goblins are well hidden, you don't see them, but Aiden's alerted you to their presence.
Just thrashing around in the bushes.
With a goblin. Okay.
Presumably.
Okay.
Maybe, he could be
In
making
reality, my foot's just caught.
You're
The,
rogue.
Thrashing around in the bushes with the goblin sounds totally different than what's actually.
Character took a turn.
hey, you all have flaws on your character sheets, and
Missed that one.
attraction to goblins might be one of them. So some options before you. You can really just tell me kind of what you want to do, but if you are kind of lost, I'm glad to offer some suggestions.
I think I might run back to the cart and hide behind it.
Okay.
Approved.
So,
So the cart at this point is about 40 feet away because you've already moved some distance toward the horses.
okay,
So on your turn, you can move up to your speed,
Okay.
which is
25 feet.
so you can get most of the way there.
Okay.
Then you can, if you want, use your action to dash, or you could, if 25 feet is all you want to move, you could do something else like ready in action, cast a spell.
I think I'm going to back my 25 feet away and then let others kind of guide where they want to go, and I'll hang back until they need me.
Okay, got it. Take a point of inspiration because I know exactly what you're taking advantage of one of your character's flaws, I believe.
Okay?
So inspiration basically is an expendable resource that when you want to use it,
Mhm.
you can get advantage on a roll.
Okay.
So what that means is you get to roll 2 dice and take the higher result.
Oh,
So just note it on the top of your character sheet for now, and if you want to spend it later on, just mention it.
all right.
Okay, the goblins spring into action. The goblins on the side of the road where you are, which might imply there's some goblins on the other side, are going to
Staying in the thickets.
are going to take aim at you, and they're basically hidden until they actually fire. So your ready action will go off in a second. But first,
Oh yeah.
natural 1 and a 15 plus 4 is going to be 19 versus AC.
Sadly, that does nick me.
All right. As an arrow catches you, you're going to take 5 points of piercing damage.
It's a little bit more than a catch, but sure.
And just so the audience at home doesn't think I'm making all this up as I don't consult any stat blocks, I actually have run this adventure before and I know what the goblin stat blocks are. So they appear, you can see them on the other side, and take aim at one of them. Done again.
Yes, please. All right, my longbow.
Crit.
Oh!
That'll do.
Yes.
Very nice.
All right.
That doesn't suck.
So as your arrow flies across the road and strikes one of the goblins, you're going to get to roll double damage. So you roll the dice twice, or roll 2 dice instead of 1.
Okay, I've got 1, 4, 5, 6, 7 piercing.
7 piercing is
Yes.
enough to fell the goblin. It gives a cry, ah, and falls down.
And I said,
dead.
peasant to the
Now I know what a
rescue.
goblin sound is. Okay.
Way to do your part.
The other goblin on the side of the road where you are, Aiden, is going to scurry through the brush, and goblins, because they're particularly stealthy, can use their bonus action to attempt to hide. So he's going to attempt to do that.
Not so fast. Where did you go?
Disappears.
Tricksy goblin.
Distracted by the goblins on the side of the road where Aiden is, you didn't necessarily notice the ones that were about 10 or 15 feet in front of you, as 2 more goblins pop up, taking aim, one at you, and another, you're still standing in the middle of the road, is going to take aim at you.
Uh-oh. Well, can't I cast a spell?
You may on your next turn,
Okay.
but casting a spell takes an action, so
Okay.
you'll have to wait. Uh-oh.
Not a good sound.
So that's
Am I
going
gonna
to
die
be...
on like turn 2? Is this how this is gonna go?
No, this is still turn 1.
The
Okay.
rest
Well.
the rest of us hope not, because, cleric and all.
all right, Liz, against your character
Okay.
is 17 AC.
Oh,
The answer is no.
no.
Yes.
All right, deflects off your shield.
Barely. I'm alright with that.
Well done.
Against you, done again.
So AC means armor class. I learned that earlier today, by the way.
Mhm.
Sharing with new folks who might be at home. Then I learned a thing.
If he equals or exceeds your armor class, you can hit. Since you were more.
Against you, done again, 18 versus AC.
Oh, just a bit.
All right, an arrow strikes you and you take 5 points of piercing damage.
Hold fast. The stinging will go away soon.
I did this for you.
And songs will be sung.
Sounds like you're already dead.
We will mourn your passing, Delegate.
One of those goblins is going to go into the brush and attempt to hide. They do so fairly successfully. Unless any of you have a passive perception of 19 or higher, it appears to disappear. The other one is going to come charging down the road toward your wagon, brandishing, putting away its short bow and pulling out a short sword.
Uh-oh. So towards the cleric?
Yeah, toward the cleric.
Awesome. Great.
Okay, after the goblins is Esther.
I am going to, there's one coming at her.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I'm going to loose an arrow at it
okay.
with my short bow. Ooh, 23.
You hit.
Let's see. 7 points.
Is enough to fell the goblin as it collapses
Thank you.
face down
That
onto
was
the
very
road.
kind of you. I
No
appreciate
problem.
that.
We'll talk later about the fee. I'm kidding.
There
This time.
are now 2
Expect
goblins
it.
left, one hidden on each side of the road. And that brings us to Aiden.
You mean Valen?
Oh, sorry, Valen.
Valen looks up from the book that he. Where did the goblins go?
This way and that way, or maybe that way.
We've both been hurt.
You can find them, don't worry.
I will
Instead of just dying.
see if I can see them in the woods. You make an active perception roll. With a 14.
They evade your notice.
I think they've all gone home.
That is not true. Continue looking.
I'm still bleeding.
It's okay. That's what the cleric's for.
And so after spending your action to search around, that puts it to Aiden's turn.
I will charge in the general direction of the goblin.
Okay. I'm just going to roll to see if you happen to stumble into him.
Happen. This is trained talent, sir. I'm going to charge right at him.
You're looking for, let's say a 7 or 8, because you're kind of going off in one of 4 directions down the road. All right, a very surprised goblin sort of dodges out of the way as you come barreling through where he was in the brush, and you can.
Pull out my great axe and just swing back right at it.
All right, make an attack.
He's a little slippery. Plus 5. 11.
11 is not enough. He's fairly dexterous, and so dodges out of the way.
He's over here. I left him for you to clean up.
And I'll say now at this point that goblin is not hidden since it was essentially forced to get out of cover from, thanks to Aiden's charge.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. I
This is such
respect
a
your talents.
positive group.
Anytime you'd like to come over and heal me, you feel free.
And me.
Well, let's not tax the cleric.
I believe I have to wait until my turn to do that.
You will. Which is almost come
I'll
around.
hold.
Dunnigan's turn.
I'll hold and wait for healing.
So you're on the opposite side of the road from Aiden, and the goblin on your side is still hidden, but you can see the goblin across the road, but he's in some cover.
Yes. So is taking an attack would use it my turn, or if I do perception to try to look for my goblin, would I be able to attack or no?
Using perception to actively look around would take up your turn, your one action, so you can do either.
All right. Well, since I am a ranged, excellent shooter, I'm going to try and save my friend, and I will shoot the goblin across the way in
Okay.
hopes that people will come and rescue me soon.
Okay, so the goblin, because it's got some partial cover from the brush, is going to have a bonus to its armor class of
Okay.
2, but go ahead and make your attack roll. Rolling well.
Would you roll a 14?
23.
Oh, 23.
Yes.
Now you get 23 because...
I added my attack bonus, and also,
Oh, he gets...
and then he adds...
And I had some
Okay.
cover bonus, but
Okay.
because he's only clad in leather armor, even with the cover from the brush, the arrow flies true and strikes him, so you can make roll damage.
Alrighty. And that's another 5 piercing.
All right. Does not quite take him down.
Don't worry. You'll get better.
And I yell into the forest, I'm like, run unless you want to be like your friends.
Okay. The goblin quakes a bit in fear as an arrow plunges into its shoulder, and it has a fairly burly-looking human next to it. After Dunnigan is Roxy.
Okay, well, I think I would like to heal my friend Dunnigan.
I don't know if you've seen my arm lately.
It's got a little tiny
Tarnished.
scrape.
Robes are
I
dirty.
understand. However, I feel that her talents of the bow and the arrow are very much needed at this point. So I'm going to
I think
help.
she's saying the other one's more effective than you.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel it important to point that out.
so I'm going to cast.
Just in case it wasn't clear.
Just in case it wasn't clear.
We will
I'm actually
avenge
taking
you.
notes on this whole experience.
I'm going to
Here's
cast
the archer
cure.
is more effective than the warrior.
This is also true.
Hey, I played Skyrim. I know. Melee, not the way to go.
I'm going to cast Cure Wounds.
Thank you.
So check the range on Cure Wounds.
Okay,
Oh, you have to go up there.
touch. I have to touch. Okay, so can I have to move towards you.
Yeah, and you're actually fairly close
Okay.
because you had moved back.
Yep.
Alternatively, you do have Healing Word, which has a range if you would prefer to stay in the road.
Okay, well I would like to stay where I am. So
She
we're
cares.
I care. But we're gonna send healing word.
Thank you.
Cast healing word is my spell.
Okay.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is,
And it has casting time 1 bonus action.
yep, so you'll actually be able to take another action after this.
Fantastic. Okay.
So look at the effective healing word in there.
Okay.
It should
So
be on the next page. Restores, I believe, 1d4 plus.
Oh yes. A creature of your choice within range regains hit points equal to 1d4 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. This spell has no effect on the undead or constructs.
So as long as you're not a construct or undead, which I don't think is one of your flaws.
Smell great.
Smelling pretty loud. All right.
So roll 1d4.
Okay.
The
So
pyramid you want.
okay. Got 1.
Nicely
Four.
done.
Okay.
You're going to add 2 for, sorry, your spellcasting bonus is equal to your wisdom.
My wisdom is +3.
So that's 7, and
Okay.
then because you are a cleric of life, the disciple of life feature that you have there on your character
Underneath
sheet
your
on the
face.
right.
Okay. Yep. Your healing spells are particularly effective. Whenever you restore hit points to a creature with a spell of 1st level or higher, the creature regains additional hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level.
So it's a first level spell,
3.
so an additional 3, so 10 hit points.
That's
Easily covered.
that's some lovely healing you have, Claire.
I'm very giving.
Well done.
Your accused archer. Or a lot.
So because that was a bonus action, you actually still have both an action and you can move up to your speed if you want.
Okay, so what's the status of the goblins right now, just so I can remember?
There's one goblin that's visible next to him that's
Okay.
injured, and there's another goblin down near her that's hidden.
Okay. And you are injured currently.
I am.
You are. And I can only cast a spell once, correct?
So you have 2 spell slots per day
Okay.
at first level, which means you've now expended 1 of your spell slots.
Okay.
If you wanted to, you could cast another spell, although it couldn't be, you would use your action to do so,
I think.
and you would have no spells left.
Okay. I think I am going to move back up towards the horses to see what's left in the saddlebags.
Okay. So you can move about 25 feet down,
Yep.
which gets you within 10 feet of there.
Okay.
If you then
I
have
smell burning.
you then have your action if you want to move the rest of the distance up there to inspect.
I would like to move the rest of the distance up there to inspect.
Okay. So on your next turn, when you can kind of search around, I'll tell you what you
Okay.
find. So there is a goblin that is still hidden from you. Actually, we'll do the one on your side first, since they went first last time. It is going to drop its short bow.
A smart move. I accept your surrender.
It bares its teeth.
You're an odd way to surrender.
Mutters something in Goblin. You don't understand Goblin, do you?
Does anyone speak Goblin?
I do.
Ah, then come speak to this one. He's
What's your
rather
perception?
angry.
13.
13. You can tell it says, the Kragmaws will eat you alive.
They are threatening to eat us. Some sort of cannibalism.
But he's so small.
He does have teeth.
Ah, it's
So while you guys are shouting back and forth, having this debate, he has brandished a scimitar, a curved blade, and swings it at
It's a
you.
pretty baller goblin with a scimitar.
And with a 8 against AC,
I sidestep it. You
And-
cute little goblin.
mutters a curse in Goblin. The other one is hidden from you.
It is.
So he is going to have advantage as it takes aim with its short bow and fires. So advantage means that it rolls 2 dice, 2 d20s, and takes the higher result. Good thing you got that curing. Right? A 2 and an 11. So that's going to be a total of 15 against AC.
Oh my gosh, that's enough.
Okay, 5 points of piercing damage. The goblin is no longer hidden, but it is going to scurry further into the brush and attempt to hide again using its nimble escape. And gets a natural 1 on the roll, so I believe everybody's passive perception is higher than 7.
Yes.
So you can all see it trying to hide behind a tree that's far too skinny for it.
Is he a chubby goblin?
Little portly around the bottom. Yeah. Astaire.
I'm going to get out toward the wagon and shoot that goblin.
Don't worry, small one. I have this one.
The one that's hidden?
The one that just
Or tried to hide?
yeah.
You hear it laughing. You can shoot. It does have a bit of cover still because there's thickets
Sure.
and such.
Okay. 19.
You strike it.
Awesome. 7.
You slay it. Collapses, laughing as it goes.
That is
What
why
are
you
you
can
using as a
run.
weapon?
What's your weapon?
A short bow.
A short bow.
Goblins appear weak to arrows.
Noted.
For your great ecology of the goblin book.
It is. It's going to be a bestseller
Weak to
someday.
long swords, weak to short swords, weak
Hundreds
to...
of there'll be tens of copies.
Tens of copies sold.
Goblin.
Favorite bookstores in Neverwinter and Waterdeep.
I'm trying to think of what goes with
The,
stare.
the Neverwinter Times bestseller.
Oh, the Neverwinter Times bestseller.
Yeah.
The ecology
Stare
of the
Frederick?
Tribord Trail Goblin.
Perhaps.
After Astaire, assuming you want to stay where you are,
I'm going to try to get toward the wagon because I want to get up on top and see if I can get some better visibility.
okay, yeah, because you were kind of off to the side, right?
Yeah, off to the side of the road.
So using your movement, which is 25 feet, yeah, you
Yep.
can kind of just hop up. And,
Okay.
There's the cart itself is piled with various mining gear, so it gives you a pretty good advantage.
Cool.
You'll be just on you'll have advantage on perception checks while you're
Great.
up there.
So good idea. Stay together down there.
After Astaire is Valen.
But how far from the goblin, or is the cart from the goblin that he's fighting?
We'll say you had been walking along the side of the road, so probably about 40 feet.
Okay. Sir Aiden, would you like some assistance?
Oh no, I've got this. Don't worry.
Oh, very well.
Stay safe with the rest of the group.
I will I'll look around
Take
then for any other goblins.
Okay. Are you on the cart?
I am on the cart still.
Okay, so you can have advantage as well. Sorry, I should have noted that last
Advantage
time.
on looking?
Yeah.
That helps. Oh, 23.
You can. Wait, actually, you weren't. That was the one that wasn't hidden very well, so you see it easily.
He killed the one that wasn't very well.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
I think
so there's
only one.
there's none that are hidden. Oh, you're just looking for goblins in
Yes,
general.
well, he doesn't want, I offered help, but he refused.
Please.
You in fact confirm that there are no more goblins.
There are no goblins. Fairly certain, there are no more goblins about.
I believe that statement you just made ties into one of your flaws,
Yes.
so you can take a point of inspiration for that. And just a reminder, if you decide you want to use your inspiration, advantage on the roll you use it for. After Astaire and after Valen is Aiden.
You might explain that one to the new DMs who might be watching that.
Sure. So all of the characters have bonds, flaws, traits, ideals. These are tied into their personality and role playing. And to kind of reward people for role playing, one of the tools a DM has at their disposal is to give out inspiration. You can have one inspiration at any time. And when a player chooses to spend it, they make the decision before they make a roll, a saving throw, a skill check, or an attack. And when they do so, they get advantage on that roll. But you give out inspiration typically when they're doing something that isn't necessarily optimal. So in this case, by Aiden saying that he didn't want the assistance, the goblin may last actually till the next round, have the chance to attack him, and so that's a suboptimal choice.
Obviously, you don't understand
Says the voice of the
situation.
narrator over you. Who's saying that? So Aiden, take your turn.
I will attempt to grab the snarling goblin that is in front of me.
Grappling it.
Yes.
Okay. You're going to make a strength check.
Yes, I will be using my inspiration to take advantage of the situation.
Okay. He's going to be contesting it with
Goodness, I made the right decision.
Inspired.
There was almost a one.
contesting it with his dexterity and fails.
Yes.
So he is now grappled.
I got him! Don't worry!
He's like snarling.
Does anyone have a muzzle?
And what grappled means is that he can't move. He is, and if you basically you have the opportunity next turn to try to pin him if you want.
Now,
But
can I carry him, or do I have to pin him first before I carry him away?
you can. I believe you have to pin him first.
Okay.
So he will actually potentially have the chance to attack you next turn because even though you are grappling him, it still doesn't keep him from like kind of
Sure.
trying to stab you. So Dunnigan,
Okay.
you see a snarling goblin around whom Aiden's arms are wrapped.
It's called a bear.
A
This
bear
is back
has-
to your
Noble,
flaw.
are you sure you don't need help?
Oh no, I've got this. Thank you. I'll bring him to the one that can understand him, and we'll figure out what happened.
Ah, alright. Do the goblin that was felled look like they have any goodies on them?
They are equipped in leather armor, and they've got the scimitar and the short bow. You don't immediately see any like coin pouches or anything, but if you want, you can inspect the body mark closely.
I'll inspect the one near me and see if there's anything worth gathering.
Okay. Upon close inspection, there doesn't seem to be anything on them you would maybe expect it, but these maybe are just scouts.
No symbols or...
No symbols.
Okay. Alright then, if I've got time, I'll head back towards the carriage and
Okay.
see what we've caught.
Roxy.
Okay, well, I'm up by the horses, and so I want to see if there's anything left of my dear, dear cousin, and see if there's any clues as to his whereabouts or if he was offed. I don't know if he was offed yet or not.
Okay.
So I'm inspecting the horses.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an intelligence search check. So
Okay.
you use your search skill,
Okay?
and you'll roll a d20 and add your modifier there.
My search skill.
Sorry, investigation.
Investigation, okay.
Should know better.
All right. So I take my d20 and I roll that. And I get a 4.
What-
And a +0 for investigation.
Okay. There are some things you can see even...
Can I use my inspiration?
I'll let you add it after, yeah.
Okay. thank you.
Normally
Sorry.
inspiration's used before, but this
Oh,
is not
sorry.
this isn't really there's not a consequence here, so
Okay,
it's fine. So you can roll a second die and take the higher result if that's it.
okay. Need a second
She's
die.
emotional.
Sure.
It's family. Oh,
6.
never mind.
All right.
A little
Um,
emotional.
Guys up there.
He owed her
You're
money.
so emotional that you just can't
That was
bring
gonna
it.
come
I have a cousin. 7?
With you don't notice anything particularly telling of the scene.
Is that because I'm slow right now, or is
There's just nothing that you pick up on,
Alright.
other than that the saddlebags appear to have been looted. The case, the map case, has been opened.
the map is missing?
There's nothing inside of it. While the horses are dead, and there's quite a few arrows in it. There's not obvious like a pool of blood or anything nearby.
Okay. That didn't do me much good. Now I'm sad.
It's okay. You've got another round to mourn. The goblin, undeterred by the grapple, is going to attempt to stab you with its scimitar
Do
because it's
not
not
bite.
fully restrained yet.
I just want to talk. Then we will send you on your heathen way, and you may go back to your kind.
It misses. It's trying to.
This is what happens when you grow up in the woods.
That's what they do.
Astaire.
I want to look at the goblins and see if they have any, like, just like from where I'm at. Do I see any identifying like marks? Are they wearing a uniform?
Like, are they
or any
special
marks
goblins?
Or any kind,
Identified.
Red.
Unique.
brands or anything?
Captain of the goblins.
Give me a.
Lead goblin.
From where you are,
Take
give me a
off.
perception check.
16.
16. So one thing you don't notice any particularly distinguishing marks in terms of the clothes. They're just in rags
Mm-hmm.
and loincloths, barely.
Oh, they're like naked goblins.
Well, they're in armor,
Civilized.
but they aren't ones for cloth making, we'll say.
Oh.
We don't have good tailors.
Yeah. You do notice, though, one particularly telling thing about them, which is they've got one of their teeth knocked out. It's not their teeth knocked out, but they appear to have sharpened their teeth. They appear unnaturally pointed.
That's creepy.
But nothing to indicate red brains.
Great.
Do you
Bizarre.
keep that to yourself?
They watch his teeth. I mean, I suspect that his scimitar is worse, but the teeth probably
He's quite
nasty,
feisty.
sharp, pointy.
It's got the silent.
Large, pointy teeth. Obligatory Monty Python quote. Valen.
I'll hop down from the cart and walk over to Aiden.
Okay.
Ah, good. The translator.
Yes.
Thank you.
What are duties I'm happy to provide?
She's not saying anything in
Are you
Goblin at this
bleeping
point.
this?
Are you from the Cragmaw tribe?
It says, put your face closer and I'll eat it.
Oh.
He's very rude.
I can tell.
You might want to
He tried to tickle my side.
get him in a better hold.
Speaking of which, Aiden's turn.
I tried to pin him. With a 20.
You succeed, barely. He's kind of wriggling and almost escapes, but you manage to pin him to the ground.
Ha! See? Years of wrestling lessons.
And at this point, we can drop out of initiative. You've incapacitated the goblin well enough that if you want to interrogate it, you may, or explore the scene of the attack further.
So when you say drop out of initiative,
Basically, we're not going to go round by round. You can kind of just go into more of a free-flowing experience
Oh,
of telling
okay.
me what your characters want to do, what we were doing before we rolled and put all the little nice
Yep.
standees out.
okay.
There you go.
Look at all the dirt you got on my clothes. Stay still.
He, at this point, the goblin just continues to curse and describe how it's going to eat you and your flesh and your children, and but you have it secured.
How far away am I from him and the goblin?
At this point, you're about 30 feet. You can walk up if you want.
Okay. I would like to walk up and interrogate the goblin.
Okay. So when you approach the goblin, what are the rest of you doing?
I'm hobbling back over to see what's.
You make it sound like you took an arrow in the knee and you
She did take
But I
care.
cleared you!
Pierced.
Oh, she got shot again.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But I figure since I can do well with intimidation and persuasion.
And it's your family.
I know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Got a bone to pick.
I'm going to interrogate the goblins' potential purses if they have any.
Interrogate his supplies.
So how do I move over to interrogate the goblin?
you just tell me you do it.
Okay, well then I'm doing that.
Because we're in basically a narrative mode
Okay.
right now, and I'm just trying to get a sense of what everybody's doing.
Okay.
Josh, what is Valen doing?
Valen's gonna keep asking questions.
Okay.
I will happily translate for the upset dwarven cleric if needed.
Okay. So while you're all interrogating, you're just kind of going from goblin to goblin and looking around.
Yeah.
So I'll resolve that in a second. So once you get to the goblin, it seems pretty feisty. So what do you say or what do you do to try to intimidate it or persuade it?
He doesn't understand our common language.
That's true.
He's very feisty.
We need to know who he is. So I would ask him his name and where he's from. I'm gonna start nice, respectfully. And then-
What is your name and where are you from?
You can give me a persuasion check, but you're basically you're going to be at disadvantage. I'm going to have her roll.
Okay.
Because of the translation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll have you roll because
Okay.
because of the translation, you're just going to be at disadvantage because you're not able to sort of offer the same niceties and cues that you and visual cues that you might
Okay.
otherwise.
So it means you roll
Verbal
2 and
cues.
take the lower one too.
I'm sorry, were you crossing off your intimidation for any reason?
My inspiration
She
point.
used it earlier.
Oh, you used
Yeah,
it earlier, I
yeah.
thought you were gonna use it now.
So 13 and 10.
Okay. And actually, going back a second, had you kept inspiration, this is more of just an FYI, you can
Yeah.
actually use it to cancel a disadvantage. So you just.
Oh, yeah, because it just neutralizes it. Okay.
Which I thought was
And
a
then-
brilliant move.
And then you get to add.
The +3 for intimidation. So then, but
Oh, you're intimidating? Or are you persuading?
persuading.
Oh,
yeah.
never mind.
So it just neutralizes because I had a +1 of persuasion. So then I go down to so it's 0. So then it's just 13.
Yep.
No, you
Oh.
so you take the lower dice roll,
Oh, the lower dice roll.
which is 10, and then you
Okay.
add your persuasion bonus.
And then I subtract the 1 for the disadvantage because I'm
Yep,
translating.
the disadvantage is only the dice.
That's just the
Oh,
dice.
okay. Well, then I take 10.
Okay.
11.
Okay.
11.
Plus
That's that, plus
yes.
1. Yeah. So,
Sorry, that was a lot of
as Valen, as Aiden, you hold it pinned and you translate the fairly kind words of the
I'm trying to be charming and persuasive.
It's
of
working,
Roxy.
obviously.
The goblin seems to have none of it. He is cursing your names now, saying how Muglibet will devour your souls, and you'll go to
Who's Muglibet?
the
It's a goblin god.
Oh.
Terrible things.
and you'll go to the goblin domain where he rules all, and you'll be devoured forever by.
Can I just like backsmack him or something?
I'll allow it.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me an intimidation check.
All right.
Not at disadvantage this time.
Well, that's a +3. So do I do
Just the one.
just the one? 18
That is a well done.
All right.
+3, so 21. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
The goblin immediately goes quiet, and you can see he sniffles a bit, and you see a little tear welt up in his eye as there's a mark forms on the side of his face from where you smacked him.
All right.
And he says back to you in common. What do you want to know?
Where is Gundren? Where's my cousin? What have you done with him?
Answer her.
I don't know any Gundren.
The dwarf that was coming through, that was on this horse. What did you do with him?
Dwarf, you ran away.
Which direction did he head?
He went north.
How long ago?
Hold on. I want to make an insight check to see if he's lying there. Or if I get
Oh.
an idea if he's lying.
Okay.
22.
He doesn't seem to be lying, but you get that basically because of that little laugh he did, there's maybe Gundren didn't exactly head north.
Something strange about his story. It doesn't seem to match up with his tone.
He shouldn't even know what direction north is.
You may wish to question him further.
Was Gundren alive when he left?
Else?
Why are you questioning that?
Huh?
You said that with a questioning tone. Was he alive or dead? It's yes or no. Alive or dead?
Both.
Alive and dead?
Huh?
Was he a zombie?
Zombie?
Okay.
I'm as confused as you are.
Okay. Okay.
They're not that smart.
Okay. I didn't know goblins weren't smart. Okay, now I know.
They're not very smart.
They're not
Let
very
me go.
Although he did pretend that he didn't speak common, so he must not be that.
Was he alone?
No.
Who or what was with him?
Goblins.
More goblins?
Lots of goblins.
Did you-
Hundreds.
I don't believe you. Aiden, yell at him.
Let me go.
Don't let him go yet.
Sorry, the translator said you cannot go yet.
I have a family.
I doubt that.
And I'll,
Goblin, tell me where's Cragmaw Castle.
intimidating.
Sure. Poorly. Ooh, actually, not so poorly. 15.
No, Kogma Castle. Kogma Cave.
Where is it?
What was your intimidation check?
15.
Ahoy.
Is he
Kind of gestures northwardly.
really?
Is that where Gundren went?
Yeah.
Is that where the temple is?
Temple.
The temple you defiled?
Defiled.
Speak to goblins.
This is why we need to clear this land of these people.
I agree.
Yes.
I think the goblin word for defile is use. Who would use that sword?
I'm done with him.
Ah,
Do with him what you will.
Let me go.
that would be the noble thing to do.
Put
However-
him in prisoner.
I agree. Let him go.
Whoa.
I don't think a prisoner helps us. I don't think his people.
I'll show you cave.
Oh. Haven't chose the cave.
That is helpful. Can we get some rope?
I have some rope.
Who's that rope?
Then I will let you tie him up.
Do I'm not making. No.
You could just effectively tie him up.
I start tying him up near the neck. See where we go.
Not like.
Loosen it a little.
Come, Goblin. Let's go find this cave.
I have a name.
It's Goblin.
Should we gag him?
What is your name?
Slurry.
Slurry.
Terrible name.
Okay.
Name. It's
I
very
shall call you Steve.
evocative of
Let's go,
future
Steve.
state.
How about Slurpee?
Oh, that is a much better name than Slurry.
No.
Too bad. Slurpee it is. Let's go.
Come now, Slurpee.
Slurpee the.
Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I do have a slight injury.
Have we rested?
So you guys can rest, but resting takes an hour. If you rest, you can spend a hit die. Each of you at level 1 has 1 hit die. And when you do, you'll roll the die as indicated on your character sheet and add your constitution modifier.
Now, let's not get too hasty, people. We do have to find the cleric's cousin, and he could be injured, so we should perhaps move with haste.
How long does it take, do you think, to get up there? Maybe ask him.
Slurpee.
What?
How long does it take to get to this cave?
Half sun?
And where's the sun in the sky right now? What time is it?
It's about noon.
So, plenty of time. Let's go, Slurpee. Show the way.
But first we need to heal you.
Yes, that would be optimal.
So I'm going to
Heal him, right? Not the goblin?
No.
No, the
Good,
goblin.
just checking.
The goblin's good. He walks.
So are you guys going to also leave the cart with the oxen in the middle of the road?
No, I think we tie Slurpee to the cart and have him lead the way.
Basically the direction that Slurry was going to go is through the brush.
Oh. How long will it take to push the cart into the brush and cover it?
You could probably do it with about 20 minutes. The area is not too densely wooded, so you could lead the oxen off, cover it, tie them off pretty well.
Let's do that.
I think that's in our best interests.
Okay, you can do so.
Should we perhaps deal with these horses as well? Get them off the road?
And the goblin bodies. Oh, by the way, you do find that one
It's
of
probably
the,
best.
one of
It
the
will keep others
goblins
from stopping
has
this general area.
a
I
I would
silver
think so. We don't want to draw
tooth.
attention
Silver
to
tooth.
space.
Yeah,
Excellent choice. Excellent
Pointy and
choice,
sharp.
present.
pointy and sharp.
A sharp silver tooth.
Yeah.
I will rest with the cleric if you would like to
Probably
remove the horses from
worth
this general area.
3 silver pieces.
I'm not particularly suited to dragging things.
You've got your outdoors clothes on.
Maybe the burly archer would be better suited.
Around my knee.
What about our thief friend over here?
We can move the horses.
Do you think
I could take it out by jabbing at it with a sharp silver goblin.
if we perhaps cleave it a little bit, the halfling could move it? If you'd like to volunteer for that.
What are we doing?
Oh.
No, I'm not moving it, you're moving it.
I'll
Moving
help.
what? The
That's
wagon?
right
I love that
thing to
none
do.
of
Slurry's
us
just
want to move the
watching.
horse.
Watching this.
You're gonna have to cleave it a lot if a halfling's gonna be moving.
You know
a
what?
horse.
I wasn't volunteering.
Here's a suggestion. Out of respect for my family,
By
since my
myself.
family is the one whose horses fell. My family is the one whose horses fell.
Did
Why
you
don't
train on these
why
horses?
don't
Do
we
you know
push-
them?
Why don't we
Start pulling the second
oxen
one.
off and they can move the thing.
Let's
Then we
just
tie the
leave-
oxen to the horses, have them pull the horses off, and then the oxen can eat the horses.
That's
or something,
allowed.
right?
I don't
Oxen eat
think,
horses, right?
I don't think you understand how oxen work.
But that's a lot of
It's
work.
time to go. Hide the oxen.
So
Let's just
you suddenly realize that as you've been discussing this, that Dunnigan has actually moved pulled both horses off to the edge.
Well done, Dunnigan. Thank you.
Fantastic. I've seen that knee is working out just fine.
Obviously, my leadership skills are rubbing off on you.
Before we take off on this journey, however, I do want to heal our friend Aiden.
Ah, yes, thank you.
Okay.
So I would like to cast Cure Wounds.
All right. How many points are you down?
I am down 5 points.
Okay.
Okay.
I will note as DM
Okay.
that is kind of overkill.
Oh.
Um,
I'll allow it.
but if you want, basically, it will keep you guys from having to spend an hour resting if that's what you want to do.
Oh, then no, forget it. We're gonna just wait.
Excuse me?
Sorry.
We're both down 5. We'll be fine.
You'll be okay.
As the leader of this band, and the one that will be encountering any sort of,
I do believe I am the religious leader of this band.
I
is
just
that how we're
carried
going to
2
play
horses.
this? Very well. When I fall, you can go back to Neverwinter and tell them all how I died bravely.
I would be happy to share that story of the legend.
What is the passive aggressive on?
Yeah, below passive perception is the passive aggressive story.
Very well, peasants, let's move on.
Uh,
I shall shoulder this burden alone.
I'd
Is
like
it
to
in
make
the
a
shoulder
nature
or
check to hide the wagon.
You can just do so. I'm not going to make
Okay.
you make a check.
I want to roll my die.
Okay, you can make a nature check.
Fail.
Ooh, 15.
You would have been sorry if you rolled a 1.
I would have
Some branches on it.
A couple leaves. Quick.
paint a sign. Wagon here.
Don't look at this wagon.
Ignore the wagon.
So
And the
you
oxen
are
down the way.
you're not using curing magic, and you're not taking an hour rest. You're just
We
continuing.
must move on.
Okay.
Her cousin is in danger.
So for marching order, sounds like you want the goblin in the front leading the way,
Yes.
Yes.
followed by who?
We'll tie him to my belt buckle and I will follow him.
Okay.
Tie him to your belt.
Yes.
Those
How else?
giant dogs.
How else can I hold
I
my
wasn't sure you were
great
like, it made him sound small, like you were strapping him to your.
axe? Well, not directly. He's got a leash.
Okay.
That's a rope.
Makes sense.
So
like part of my utility
goblin, Aiden, who's taking the back?
I can take the back. Just well,
You should perhaps
If I have
watch our
active-
rear
I
just in
will
case.
watch
If I
the
have
rear.
active
It's the right
perception-
thing to do.
do I get a better benefit there?
Yeah, you guys could basically.
Because I seem to be easily distracted. Is all.
This is basically marching order to establish who's doing what. If we were going to do a lot of exploration and tromping through the woods, potentially the people in the front are keeping an eye out for things, while the people in the middle can navigate or look for food or whatever. For these purposes, yeah, it'll just be the two people in the front and the back who are keeping an eye on things.
Also, we shall perhaps gag the goblin so he cannot alert.
I think that is a very good idea.
Yes.
Okay, goblin is gagged.
Sorry, Slippy. It had to be done.
Is Slurpee an old goblin or a young goblin?
Uh,
Middle-aged
Did
goblin?
they get to be old?
I don't know. What do you know about goblins?
I know nothing about goblins.
Make a nature check.
But I want to. 10.
He seems about, well, goblins which don't tend to have long lifespans, mostly attributed to their nature of dying a lot. So he seems, maybe he's 7 or 8 years old.
Okay.
He's lived a good life.
Yeah.
I'm just going to check one thing.
It's like 200 in elven years.
What is his
Is that in Elven news?
All right. So as you guys are continuing along, after he leads you toward a trail, and starts down the trail, and he starts at one point after about 10 minutes making kind of a large ruckus and pulling against the rope.
I pull right back.
Okay. Your passive perception was
13.
13. So immediately after he does that, thanks to his little distraction, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Good thing I'm good at this. 15.
Okay.
Oh, solid.
So he's kind of pulling at you, distracting you, and you realize that as soon as he's doing this, there's a snare, and you actually trigger it, but manage to jerk your foot out of the way just in time.
So what the trigger is this, Goblin? No more tricks.
And the snare kind of is now hanging over the path.
I found that snare. Just be careful for others as we continue.
Do you guys want to go slower so that you can make more active perception checks given this trap, or are you just going to kind of continue on the pace you've been going, which is more of a faster traveling pace?
I worry that we will not get to my cousin in time.
Then we shall go faster.
Can the road
Cleric
check
who
for
does not heal.
traps?
It would be perception, and
Oh.
that would mean putting
You-
the rogue up
she
front
does not
to
heal.
take a look around.
I do not understand. I'm
I could
leading
go
this
up
band.
and
No,
sort of do a
this is my cause.
like a trap checking sort of thing.
When we reach the town, you will understand.
All it'll mean is you guys are going about half the pace from what you would normally be doing. So normally you can travel about 3 miles an hour. This would slow you to about 1.5 miles an hour if you're
Unacceptable.
actively.
Oh, okay, going forward.
Okay, still in the same order.
I'm just making demands now.
Yeah, I'm staying in the back.
I accept your recommendation. We will continue on at the current pace.
Okay.
Chop chop. Kind of kick the goblin a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go faster.
I'll watch the goblin.
Okay.
If I see him step to the sides of anything or start to make a ruckus like he's trying to be a distraction, be prepared to call it out.
Okay. Give me an insight check.
On the table. 7.
So you don't notice after about 10 minutes that he does, you don't notice this, but until he does it, which is he gives a sudden leap off, trying to pull against the rope. You need to make a strength check.
22.
Okay. I rolled a 1. So what you see happen is the goblin.
This is gonna go
So
horribly wrong.
Slurry gives kind of a leap, and you can yank him back. And because you succeeded so well, you don't get pulled at all forward. But he, from where he landed, kind of collapses, hits the ground because he's on a leash. And as he hits the ground, it completely gives away right in front of you. So he was trying to jump over this pit trap that was about 10 feet in the immediate 10-foot area in front of you, and is now hanging. How long was the rope, roughly?
50 feet.
Oh, well, I assume you didn't have the whole 50 feet.
No, I was giving it about 10 or 15 feet.
Okay,
from me.
so he's hanging about 10 feet down there, now choking.
Is this your first time on this trail? Start pulling it up.
And the whole pit trap is now collapsed, and you can see that it fills the trail for about 10 feet. You can haul him back up. Collapses at the top.
I will investigate. Are there spikes? Are there
No spikes, just appears to be a simple camouflaged pit
Is there
trap,
anything at the
6
bottom?
feet wide, 10 feet long.
anything fell down there before?
Doesn't appear that it's been triggered. If things have fallen down there, they've been taken out.
Okay. Let me take some notes.
That's your second attempt to trick us, sir. I will not accept another. This is your last warning. Now, how do we get around this?
We go down.
You go around the. It's like
Are there more of these as we go further? Are you lying? Are you lying that you're not lying?
you can make a wisdom insight check.
I will take a. Do I get a choice between this or an insight check?
Yep.
Okay. Plus
buy
this
it.
is 7.
Sucker.
Seems to. I mean, he's kind of like he's still recovering from the.
Attempted hanging?
Yeah.
That's
So
why I
he's
take it
looking
down
a little
next.
sheepish and doesn't seem. You can't kind of discern whether there is actually any traps or not.
I will ask again. Are there any traps? So I get to roll again, right?
I'm gonna keep him closer now.
Okay.
5 feet on the leash.
Okay.
Let's continue.
Okay, and it's after about another hour that you see up ahead, following the goblin's trail, a large cave in the hillside. A shallow stream flows out of the cave in the hillside, which is kind of screened on either side by briars. So I'm going to illustrate really quickly. You have basically the trail that kind of ends here. There's some thickets up here along a hillside. There's a cave coming in here. There's a stream. And then there's more thickets.
Those are well-drawn thickets.
Well, funny you mention that, because when I was doing this adventure over the weekend, I was told that my thickets look like pubic hair, so I'm making a conscious effort.
You're only about.
Oh.
This isn't on the screen, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Totally.
Okay.
Wow. How about you just stop there? we get the point.
Oh God.
Does the trail continue to the cave, or does it just stop?
It just kind of stops in the clearing.
And does the river fill the cave's mouth completely, or is it?
There's actually a little bit of a path along the right side.
Do we see any signs like torches or?
No,
shuffling in the
it
torches?
is getting a little bit, I mean, it's still actually early afternoon, so it's not dark yet. But with the 10 you got earlier on your nature check for goblins, you maybe have heard that goblins have exceptionally good vision in the dark.
Oh, all right. I don't think we should be that afraid of having to continue on and press forward. Our goblin will light the way for us.
Oh no, our goblin is not
Are
continuing.
we setting him on
further.
fire?
Oh!
I was wondering the same thing
That's how
myself.
we-
No, we shall tie him up here. We will go in, and if we need him, he will be waiting for us.
I think that is a mistake. We cannot see very well in the dark, and I believe that this goblin can see for us.
You're a dwarf. You see really well in the dark.
Yeah.
Also, I brought a torch.
Well, she's fine, but the rest of you.
I am an elf. I see perfectly fine in the dark as well. The rest of you,
Yeah.
All right, then fine. Then I'm going forward.
simple races.
I think I should take the lead.
Let's not be hasty here, cleric. Let's not be
Can you
hasty.
see in the dark?
I have a torch.
But what happens when that torch goes out?
I have another torch.
And that torch when it goes out?
Do you think I have faulty torches?
I'm just saying, I have a natural, God-given gift to see in the dark. I feel like I should lead.
Very well.
Okay.
Very well. I'll allow it.
Thank you for being so generous.
You're welcome, peasant. I shall tie the goblin up here.
I don't believe the gods recognize your hierarchy, but that's okay.
That's okay. Civilized society does.
Where are
so-
we gonna find that?
So
This is devolved, I'm sorry.
no, that's
No,
good.
no.
That's very that's very good, actually. So while you guys are arguing about civilization and gods,
This is the
I
classic
think of it more as
government religion.
you all hear a snap in the thickets, to the right of the stream.
Not the people here.
And roll initiative.
Oh.
Goodness.
Ooh,
7.
7.
1 moment. Ooh, 21. So the goblins did not succeed in surprising you because one of them blew its stealth check. Dunnigan.
7.
And I believe I also heard a 7 from
7.
Roxy. You guys can decide which goes first. Aiden.
2.
Valen.
I saved my 4s for when I attack.
Astaire.
21.
1. Oh, you tied the goblins. So Astaire, ties go to PCs
Okay.
on initiative. So you
What is a PC?
play your character.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good question.
It's like a Mac, only different.
Except it locks up a lot.
The players or the player characters or the PC? So you all detect these goblins approaching the sound of your discussion, and you can see one of them, the one that stepped on the branch and caused it to
Perfectly
snap.
still.
You don't know how many other goblins might be in the thicket though, but you can see that one.
All right. I'm going to shoot him.
Okay. He has some cover from the thickets.
All right, so 15.
15 is, I believe, just enough. Correct. You hit.
Well done, small one.
5 points of damage.
Right.
We will, however, work on your aim.
Yes.
So as the arrow cuts him, he takes some damage but is not killed. After Astaire is the goblins. One of the goblins is hidden and is going to take aim at one of the two people who were talking loudly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You.
Great leader.
So advantage because it's hidden. So that's going to be a 22 versus AC.
Yes.
5 points of piercing damage.
Ow! I seem to be bleeding.
It retreats back into the thickets and attempts to hide. Who has a passive perception of 14 or higher? I don't think anybody does, actually. Nobody does. And disappears into the thickets.
Okay.
The other goblin, which is visible, does not have advantage and will take aim at the other person talking loudly. Crit!
Oh.
So crit is roll 2 dice of damage. I do.
Oh.
You're good.
No.
You'll get to roll. at some
So
point.
that's going to be 12 points of piercing damage.
So your hit points are here.
Oh. So I have 11 hit points.
So you're unconscious.
So you fall unconscious when you hit
Okay.
0 hit points. We will explain more what that means
So
in a second.
-1 means I'm dead?
No.
Okay.
You're
You-
unconscious.
You just hit 0,
Okay.
and for now, that just means you're unconscious.
This is why we don't lead. Don't worry, peasants, I'll get them.
That goblin will scurry further into the brush and attempt to hide and disappears.
Did he go into the same general area as the previous one?
Yeah, so they were kind of both in this area and they just kind of move, ducking along.
How thick is that brush? Are we talking about bushes or is this like thickets?
It's thick enough that you can't see clearly into it. You can kind of only detect movement and maybe forms vaguely. But you could charge in if that's what you were looking
How
to do.
dry is it?
Very relevant question.
We'll leave it
It's
to
getting cold.
the gods. 3 and 4, it's very dry. 1, 2. So it is actually perhaps because it's next to a stream, is not that dry.
Okay.
All right, 1 hidden goblin and 1 not so hidden goblin. Valen.
Do I have any vague idea about how close the goblins are together? Look at everyone.
When they were close by, they were only about 10 feet apart. The whole thicket itself is only about 30 feet along here. It kind of continues over here, but most of the movement was in that section.
I'll move over to the edge of the thicket, close to where the goblins are,
Be careful there, Trixie.
and pick a spread that looks like I hit both and burning hands.
Okay, The stream, by the way, is only 2 feet deep, so you can wade into it if you want to get closer. And
Your boots are wet?
with a 15-foot cone, you will get both of them. So the brush isn't big enough to, or isn't thick enough to actually provide any bonuses for their dexterity saving throws, I'm going to say. Oh, but I might have succeeded. So that's going to be a 13 and an 18 dex save.
Those both succeed, so they each take half of 8 damage.
Damage. You see one of them, the one that you had struck with an arrow, which was the one that
Step on the twig.
stepped on the twig and was not hidden this round, collapse and die. The other one, you will say you hear a yelp, but it's still hidden.
Still hidden.
And some of the brush is kind of smoldering, but not on fire.
Take that,
After
goblins.
Valen is Roxy, who is
All right.
unconscious. So here's how this works.
Okay.
At the start of your turn, you make a death save, or you make a death roll. You roll a d20,
That sounds bad. Okay.
and if you get 10 or higher, you get 1 success. You'll note that on your character sheet below temporary hit points, there's some places to
Yep.
track those things.
Okay.
If you get 9 or lower, you get a failure.
Oh.
You can guess what happens when you get 3.
All right. Here we go.
1 failure.
Oh.
Okay. So I have to try. I have to keep trying this.
Well,
Uh,
every turn.
Every turn. Okay. So I need to
Unless
regenerate
someone
myself.
heals you.
And basically, your companions can try to stabilize you by making medicine checks.
It
Okay.
would be good to attempt to heal a hurt member of the party.
Maybe.
After Roxy is done again.
So I'm not trained in any healing, but I can go and try to.
You can still attempt to, yeah. You can,
Stabilize.
try to plug the wound.
Like-
Yeah, like that.
I'm gonna stick my finger in it. Like, make
That
me
would
another
be if you
death
critically
save.
fail.
Take 1 point of damage.
How nearby is she to the thicket?
You guys are all actually still kind of back on the path.
Okay, so she's right here.
Yeah,
Okay. I will
just
go
with
and
an arrow in her chest.
try.
Okay, make a medicine check using your wisdom.
Just trying to stir the air.
Oh,
Oh,
very nice.
okay. 17.
Success, she's stabilized.
Yay! Thank you.
So that means you're still at 0, but you're not slipping closer to death.
Okay.
It's
So you
good.
don't have to make those rolls anymore.
Oh,
Yeah. It basically
You're
makes
no
it
longer
for you.
dying.
She made it so it was successful.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks,
Thanks, done again.
Is there any way we can wake her up, or is that just pretty much?
Not without healing at this point.
Okay.
And there's only one person in the party who has healing.
Might be taking a rest here.
Can I heal myself?
Unconscious? No.
Cleric heal myself.
All right, after Roxy is and Dunnigan is Aiden.
Alright, do I know the general direction in which the yelp came from?
Yeah, I would give you maybe 50-50 odds on charging in again and stumbling
What are
across
my
it.
odds for a swinging Slurpee?
Ah,
Like a flail?
Yeah, yeah.
strong, right?
I'm gonna run at the bush and attempt to swing Slurpee through the thickets and hit the other hurt one.
Okay. So here's what you'll do. You'll move up,
There could be more. I could hit more than one.
I like this plan.
make a strength check.
That would be a 21.
Okay. Bother rolling. That was whether if you rolled low enough, I was going to have Slurry try to escape. So you heaving the rope with the goblin. Flies through some of the brush. There
Let me make the
are.
goblin sound again.
Quiet and loud.
That was exactly what I was thinking.
That's what you needed. That's where we went.
The other hidden goblin is going to get a dexterity saving throw to dodge out of the way. You're basically wielding this rope more like, not that it's going to it's going to hurt him, but so much as potentially entangle him. So.
Nice goblin flails.
Achievement unlocked.
You don't catch any other goblins with your goblin flail. However, at this point, I'm going to roll some damage for Slurry. Because he had already taken, I think it was 5 points of damage before, right? Yeah, 5 points of damage.
It was just a scratch before the pit trap and the flail.
Oh, yeah, the choking.
Chat has determined.
He goes unconscious.
Chat has determined that you need weapon proficiency, Goblin.
Mm.
No, you need to get that in your character.
I'm gonna work on that.
So you hear.
Tell me if you see any of them, Slurpee.
And that's Aiden's turn. So the other goblin is still actually hiding a stare.
I want to try to
Oh.
shoot into that general vicinity and see if I can, like, I've tried to see where I heard him come from and where,
What are you rolling for?
I was gonna wait till he was done.
or like when he got yelped. I want to try to shoot.
Okay, I'm just basically going to give you odds
You get that,
on hitting him. So if you've got about a 50% chance of even being in the right area.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll your attack.
All right. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. So because you rolled low, even if it was in the right area,
Yeah,
the arrow
a 3.
doesn't
Oh.
strike.
I forgot to mention as a
It
bonus
hits
to
the
my
dirt in the wrong direction.
goblin flail action, I was gonna take second wind to regain hit points.
As a bonus action, right?
Yep.
Okay. The goblin, still hiding, is going to take aim at the goblin flail wielding
Thank you, Redcon.
fighter. Yeah. So this is with advantage because he's second, and that'll be a 23 against AC.
Pierces me again.
All right, 5 points of piercing damage.
I'm getting very tired of this.
What are you going to now?
4.
And that goblin is then going to
Let's see.
use its full movement to dart up toward the cave, and it is right at the cave entrance, and is shouting in Goblin, "Attack! Attack!"
And that's a good place to.
That is a good idea.
Well, we got a hard stop with Liz in like 2 minutes.
You guys are probably gonna kill him. We're gonna push it. Okay,
Okay.
Valen.
Okay.
Phelan, Will.
No, wait, you skipped a stair. That was my
No.
action.
No, we did.
Oh, no, you did, okay.
Yeah, I shot the ground in front of me
Oh, yeah, that's
in the wrong direction from the.
I would like to see if goblins are weak to frost bolts.
It's an experiment.
Is it an attack or?
It's attack. Ray of Frost.
So Ray of Frost is one of the spells that actually has an attack roll as opposed to making a saving throw. So he's targeting the AC.
Ooh, very good. 20 versus AC.
20 will hit.
2 points of cold damage.
All right, and that was actually enough to finish him off. So, because he took the arrow earlier, collapses in a gasp of ice and fire.
Ooh, what does the
and
goblin sound like when he does that?
I don't have anything. I'm out. And we'll pick up next time on whether the goblins in the cave have been alerted to the presence of you guys, and we will deal with the outcome of Roxy the cleric falling unconscious during the fight.
She'll learn her lesson, don't worry.
We're going to do a Q&A afterward, but the group should be back next week on Monday at the same time, hopefully. Just look for a post on the website.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks.
Everybody.
All right, everybody can file out, and I'll keep Greg here, and we'll do a little Q&A.
You need
for the chat.
that die for your
Posterity.
for your advantage.
Oh.
We don't have to, we're not hanging out for the Q&A?
Anybody who wants to can.
You can.
It's just
I have
the
the
two of them
same
that
thing
have
as Liz,
to.
so.
Don't feel like you have to go, but sometimes some of the questions might be like pretty boring for everybody but Greg.
I love the easy questions.
If anybody has any character sheet design questions, we do have Indy here.
That's true. I mean, all of the characters in design questions.
She did this character.
Thanks,
sheet.
Greg, make it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Rotate out.
Keep it. Let's see.
I'm not
Look,
sure
and now you
how
don't have
much
to
I
crowd.
can
You got the
measure.
camera all to yourself.
Stretch
I
out.
know. Should I go? Then you can.
No, people might have questions about that.
It's up to you if you want to stick around.
Oh.
I think it's a pretty rad character sheet, by the way.
Well, thank
I
you.
think it looks really cool.
It was a lot of fun. Greg did most of the work.
Right, because my graphic design skills are great.
Hey, at least you weren't working with me. There'd be stick figures everywhere.
A lot of people have complimented the character sheet design though. So.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
it a
I
lot.
realize that I haven't come to tell you that, but we've seen a lot of people who like the clean design and
Yeah.
like all the stuff on it. So.
And I don't think we've showcased yet the 2 supplementary sheets, have we, Trevor?
No, so we've shown the pre-gens and we've shown the character sheet that's in the starter, but we haven't shown.
So yeah, going live on Thursday is going to be the other 2 sheets that Emmy and I worked on, which includes a spell casting sheet for to track spell preparation, as well as a sheet that has a little bit more to flesh out your character, like backstory and character portrait and faction.
And you said the starter set's on sale on the 3rd?
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't realize it was that soon.
And actually, something to note about the character sheet, the one that there is a small difference between what's in the starter set and what's going to be posted online. We made a late addition to add inspiration to the character sheet, so there'll be a little box to mark inspiration.
Good.
I got a couple questions here for you. We'll start with how much prep time would you say a new DM needs to run the starter, Greg? Since you've run it a few times now.
It depends if you are running the adventure, if you're reading the rules as well as running the adventure, or if you've read the rules separately. I would say that you could, if you have played D&D before, you can skim the starter set rule book, which is this 32-page book, in about 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's super concise.
And then the adventure actually jumps right in, so you could run it with maybe even 10 or 15 minutes of prep, just reading the first few pages, because it's very location based. You get a lot out of just kind of going through locations. As the party moves into area 1, just look ahead while they're table talking to area 2 and 3. And the adventure also does a lot to teach you about how to DM, how to run, stealth and versus perception and those sort of rules.
Alright, here's another one. What are the current crit rules?
As we saw a couple times in the game, the crit rules, you roll all of the dice for the attack twice, and then you add any modifiers. So when Emmy critted, your attack was for damage.
It was 1d8 plus 3 piercing.
So you rolled 2d8 and then you add 3 to that.
Yeah.
It's particularly dangerous with monsters at low level, as we saw with Liz's character, because at that level, especially if you're at lower hit points, that's going to take you down.
It was scary.
I actually had a previous version of this that I ran, a character who was running around at 3 hit points. The wizard sticks his head out to try to cast sleep, and an enemy had a readied action, and the enemy crit and actually killed him outright. So
That's what
that
Derek
is that is what Derek gets. Something I was going to say about crit rules. No, that's it.
Is the crit two d20s and the best out of that, or no?
That's advantage.
Okay.
So advantage actually increases your odds of critting, so that's another good reason to do it.
Speaking of advantage, inspiration. How does it work? Does it only grant, advantage on a roll? Can you give it away for other things besides just people playing to their stuff? Basically, give us the skinny on inspiration.
Well, I could just read what's in the starter set, but it really is DM fiat whether you give it away for other things. The main mechanic it's tied to in the player's handbook and in the starter set is when characters play to their flaws. When players do something that's less optimal as a result of one of their bonds or their negative personality traits, to incentivize people to play characters that maybe aren't just perfect in every way, and it gives, as I mentioned earlier in the live stream, gives advantage on saving throws, attack, and a saving throw, an attack, or a skill check, and you make the decision before you make the roll.
This one's for the party. Are you gonna fight the green dragon? You should totally fight the green dragon.
Is there a green dragon? I could fight a green dragon.
There's one on the box.
Whoa.
We didn't want to put it on the box without putting it in the adventure.
Wow.
Actually, I think it was in the adventure before we put it on the box. But
Well, since there's advertised to be a green dragon, then I totally want to kill the green dragon.
One of the characters actually has a background that relates to the green dragon. I don't know if that character is here.
I mean, I'm all.
Slay the dragon.
We call that the character that has a death wish. But in the new edition of D&D, dragons are much scarier than at least in recent editions.
Please. I've got 12 hit points. Oh.
So-
as Mike pointed out in the last live stream when we were doing the unboxing, that it's pretty brutal. You should be 5th level before you try.
Honestly, it's a
Well,
dragon.
not you should be, but it gives you your best chances, and you have a chance of a high probability of not surviving that fight.
Yeah. One thing you won't see with the green dragon that's in the starter set is that it doesn't have any of its lair actions or legendary actions, which you'll actually see in the monster manual, which makes dragons even scarier.
Lure them out.
Is the starter set adventure Lost Mine of Phandelver tuned to 4 players or to 5 or more?
It is actually balanced, assuming 4, the encounters that is, but as you see here, it's flexible enough for 5. I mean, you could potentially go up to 6, you could potentially go into 3, but because it assumes 4, that is going to affect pacing a bit, and there's so much of it that's the variable of how a group approaches an encounter. Taking the example of the encounter you guys just did, had you not spent time outside the cave discussing what to do, you might have surprised those goblins who are actually, in the adventure it even says, they're lazy and not paying attention. So unless the group talks, you can surprise them, in which case that becomes a much easier encounter. A lot of variability.
So we're talking about characters in the starter here. What about if someone wants to use the basic rules to create a character and run it through the starter adventure? Does the adventure support that? Or?
Yeah, you do lose the benefit of having a background that is, or a backstory that is plugged into the adventure. So all of these characters have ties, goals that are connected to events in the adventure. My recommendation would be, if you're going to do that, maybe talk to your DM about picking up one of the backgrounds or the goals. But with the basic rules that are coming out on July 3rd, you can create a first level fighter, rogue, cleric, or wizard. Most of those options, though, are similar to ones here. So what that really lets you do is play around with race, class, background combinations.
Do you just roll hit points for leveling up? No other special rules about it. So this is just about hit point stuff. Yeah, you can either roll for hit points or you can take the average, which is listed there for you. So
Yeah.
it's you can gamble or you can take the steady thing.
Yeah, and the average is rounded up. That's something I was going to mention earlier. People might have noticed I wasn't rolling damage for the monsters. One of the new stat blocks, one of the features is that they have an average damage listed. And so to expedite play, that's at the DM's option that they can use that.
This one here, will there be monsters in the basic PDF on Thursday?
There won't be any monsters at that time, mostly because the monsters are still being refined in some ways, with the exception of those, the ones that are in the starter set are obviously pretty nailed down. We are planning to have monsters available in August.
Yeah, and I've said August, so I'm gonna hold these guys to it since I put it on social media.
Yeah.
No, they'll have it by August.
With the caveat that that may or may not represent the final versions that are in the monster manual. To some extent, it just depends on our scheduling, production.
Yeah, and then the basic rule document is going to be updated with more stuff as we get it until we get to the solid basic rules document that we want once all the core books are out. So we have time to fix, like if there is a monster that we want to change, we have time to do that once it's in the basic rules.
Yep.
So I haven't been reading, I've been talking. When below 0 hit points, is it still negative max hit point to cause death?
So while you're at 0 hit points, well, actually, there's a couple rules. While you're at 0 hit points, if you're attacked and you take damage, it automatically causes a failure in your death saves. If you are critically hit, it causes 2 failures for your death saves. And if you take damage equal to your normal maximum hit points, you die outright.
Is that like taking the damage in one hit?
Yeah. So what happened actually in the game I ran last night was the wizard was at 3 hit points. He was crit for 11 points of damage, and his max hit points I think is 8. So because he took those 3 damage, he dropped to 0, and there was 8 damage remaining on it, which is met his maximum hit point, so he was killed outright. That's one of the risks, especially at low level, of staying at a low number of hit points and not getting healed up. Which now, given the complaints of this side of the table, seems like a wise choice.
So I'm going to rephrase this question a little bit to reflect what's in the actual character sheet. Is the cleric, is this cleric the one that's in the region built to be more of like a ranged attack cleric with ranged spells, or maybe more of a melee cleric? Or can this particular cleric build that's in the starter be either?
You could do either. There are some choices in spell selection. There aren't a lot of range damage spells with the exception of Sacred Flame, which is a cantrip. You could, though, for example, pick things like Command or or Guiding Bolt, Hold Person. So they're not damaging spells necessarily that are ranged, but there's a way to stay out of melee. Liz actually talked to me beforehand and described that she actually wanted to be a character that could be in melee, and so picked things more like Inflict Wounds or Shield of Faith.
Cool. On the questions on here, are there any plans for printable maps? We will put them in the products when they make sense, like if it makes sense for a product to have it. We will also be working with partners to make those kinds of things.
Like tactical maps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Greg said, tactical maps. So just keep your eye out for those, and we'll talk about them when they're around.
Yeah. We have a partner, Gale Force 9, that makes vinyl mats for us.
That's a good thing.
Are there any options for spellcasters that aren't Vancian? Yeah, you can talk about that.
So it's actually important to note that the spellcasting system isn't exactly Vancian. It's much more flexible. Actually, I'll let Josh speak to this just for the sake of diversity.
Sure.
Assuming you want to.
It is, I mean, how many people play? The playtest is pretty similar to what the playtest was running, in that you have prepared spells that you choose from. So I have my spellbook, which has 6 spells in it. And then of those, I get 4 based on my level. And so I pick those 4. I have those prepared. I can cast whichever ones I want at whatever time. I've got my 2 spell slots per day that I can cast from. So at any point, I can just pick one of the spells from the 4 that I've prepared, and I can cast up to 2 of those per day.
Yeah. Whereas with traditional Vancian magic, you would have to choose specifically the spell that occupies that slot. So put another way, if you were to actually compare this to something like 4th edition powers, it would be like having a suite of 4th edition powers at your disposal, but you can choose whichever ones you want to count against your encounter powers, for example.
It definitely feels to me a lot more flexible than Vancian. I've played lots of wizards and clerics and druids and things over the years, and not having to lock all of my spells in is good. It also helps that we've included the rituals concept that was in 4th edition. So, for example, I've got Detect Magic as one of my spells. I can prepare it if I want to be able to cast it on the fly. I chose not to because it's listed as a ritual in the book. And so I can, if we need Detect Magic, and we've got, the characters have 10 minutes where I can cast it ritually, then...
Yeah, it just changes the casting time. We do also have the Sorcerer, which uses more of a spell point type of system, and the Warlock, who uses invocations, which are a little bit more like 4th edition encounter powers in that you can get spells back after a rest. But they still use a lot of the spells that are part of the normal magic.
For changing up the spellcasting system
Yep.
as well. So
That is the
like
plan
for
right
changing
now.
something to mana points or something. That's
The DMG is still being worked on, so I will say that is the plan right now.
yeah. Sorry, that is the plan.
I
Go ahead and turn to our players over here. We haven't talked too much. What is the coolest feature on your character? It can be background stuff or mechanic. What do you like the most about your character?
Do you want to go first?
Oh,
I have an answer if you want.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Go for it.
So the coolest thing on my character are the personality traits. We are playing with the pre-gens. Did I steal yours?
A little.
Oh,
That's
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
We'll answer together. We're both fighters.
So we're playing. We're both playing fighters, and it's normally pretty easy to distinguish fighters as a ranged fighter or a melee fighter. But on top of my background information and what's guiding me, I've got these 4 different traits. There's a personality trait, ideals, bonds, and flaws. And just looking at my character sheet and reading those 4 little bullet points told me a lot about the type of character that I was going to sit down and play. It helped me find my rather haughty voice, because the first thing is my flattery makes
You're
those...
role playing, Chris? I missed that.
Oh. Well, you're in the 9 a.m. meeting with me, you know how it works. My first personality trait was my flattery makes those I talk to feel wonderful and important. So it just set me right off on the track. And I'm sure if those are options that I can choose for my own character, that's something that I can do to help to craft the type of character I want to play, and just give me those extra role playing opportunities, which were really cool.
Yeah, and those are all tied, before you go, Emmy, those are all tied into the backgrounds that'll be, some of which will be available in the basic rules, and then within the player's handbook there's a more robust suite of backgrounds, all of which have random options that you can either roll on or pick from.
Oh, same. So yeah, it is really cool having the flaws and the ideals, listed out, especially since I'm used to only playing halfling rogue, and that's chaotic, and and I'm so used to that, and I'm so used to sticking into that character. So even though I have played fourth edition for a while, this is kind of nice because it forces you to try something different, and it also gives you these guidelines like, here are my flaws and some of my ideals. It's no good pretending to be something I'm not. It's just a rogue. You kind of go back and forth a little bit on that. But yeah, it's a really nice launching point to just try something new and then go with it.
Yeah.
So, I like it.
Cool.
It's cool.
We have about 50 minutes left until I have to get back to my desk and get some work done. So I would like to call it now. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm the jerk. I'm the one that has to end this.
But we'll be back next week.
Yeah, well, let's plan on it. We're going to plan on being back here next Monday about the same time. You'll hear from us on the website to make sure. We'll definitely put it out there Monday to make sure.
And we will be archiving this on YouTube
I'll do it
within
tomorrow.
a few days.
Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow for sure. If they're under 2 hours, it doesn't take too long usually, but
Yeah.
do it tomorrow. Well, cool. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all the players in the game. And thank you guys all out there on Twitch and elsewhere for joining us as well. And yeah, we'll see you in a week.
Yay.
All right.